My next guest is the host of How to Grow and Monetize a Podcast. She's also the CEO of Dragonette Productions, which houses her podcast coaching business and podcast management. Please welcome Jennifer Dragonette. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I am here to help you up-level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next-level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I am here today with Jennifer. Hello.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be part of this. I'm going to call it a movement.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for being here. It's so amazing. I love when I meet amazing women like you, and I'm so excited to dive deeper into who you are, where you come from, what got you into what you do. Like, feel free to take us on this journey.
Oh, this journey. Well, the journey, we always have that moment that we're like, okay, trigger warning. I'll give everybody a trigger warning right now because that low moment was pretty hard for me. It was one of
Yeah.
those you'd go to bed and you'd pray or talk to universe,
Hmm.
God, universe, whoever this is. I'm not worthy of the air I'm breathing. It's better given to someone else. Please take my air and let this be the end.
Mm.
And that's why I say trigger warning because it is a hard realization. It's a hard truth. But
Mhm.
when you can pick yourself up from a moment of not even feeling worthy to breathe air, and
Yeah.
bring yourself to a place of empowerment, it is a true gift. And
Mm.
my gift actually started with one morning. I was like, I'm going to be a podcaster. And I know before you
Yes.
roll your eyes and are like, okay, this girl's got to be crazy. How did a podcast save her from not wanting to be alive? What it did is it gave me community. It gave me a sense of purpose. When everything was
Mm.
stripped away, I was able to connect and have conversations like we're having right now authentically. I was able to show
Mm.
up in my weird quirks. I will make up words, I will mispronounce words, and it didn't matter. I felt like it was almost a judgment free zone for me to just be weird.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
met so many connections and people that,
Mhm.
it led to so many adventures on my life that I would have never taken because I was too afraid to be seen and heard.
Mm. Yes. Oh, I can relate to so many things that you've just said. Honestly, like my podcast changed my life. Like I always say it, and I know it sounds dramatic, but like it's so true.
Yeah. It really, for me, it became a healing
Yeah.
modality. And that's what I
Yeah.
teach. That's how it came full circle in my life is
Mhm.
everybody looks at this as, oh, it's going to move my business forward. Oh, I'm going to get, we look at it as a strategy
Mhm.
on the like very masculine structured side. Like this is my marketing strategy. But if you pull back for a minute, what other platform do you own that you can be all yourself? That you don't have to worry as
Mm.
long as you click the little explicit box, you can be anything. You can say
Mhm.
anything. You can have an opinion. And it's really hard for haters to hate on you. It's really
Oof.
harder for
Yeah.
really hard for people to leave comments and reviews. So
Mhm.
it's like you really do get to express yourself authentically and be you.
Yes. Oh, love it so much. So, your podcast, because I know you have two, right?
Yep, I
And
do.
like, yeah, like, how do you do it all?
Well, I'm also a podcast producer, if you can believe that. So I'm editing
Yeah.
shows like crazy, but they're both based on my soul mission. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that so many of us, just like every aspect when, there's too many gurus out there that are saying it has
Mm-hmm.
to be hard. We can have a conversation. You can throw it in really quick editing. There's tools that will mix and level things for you now. You can make it
Mm-hmm.
easy. I release 3 episodes of my own a week in less than
Mm-hmm.
3 hours.
Wow.
Because I think those raw conversations, people don't relate as well to these overproduced, crazy podcasts.
Yeah.
That's not my sole mission. My sole mission is creating a tsunami of self love. And I can't do that if
Mm.
I'm over editing, because that's not being authentic and true to self.
Okay, so let's talk about that little quote there because I find it, oh my gosh, I read that. I was like, that is so cute. It's tsunami. Like where did that come from?
Well, I went to many schools. We'll be honest,
Mm-hmm.
I'm way overeducated because I was, trying to validate myself on my self-love journey with education.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to a holistic nutrition kind of all over life training. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody says, and you hear it all the time, go out and be a ripple. Go out and be a ripple.
Mm.
Go out and be a ripple. And I was like, forget that ripple. I want to be a tsunami. I want to come in. I want to wipe the slate clean and choose which pieces go back
Yes.
on that place. Yes, tsunamis in real life are horrible, but when you take it as the metaphor of like, if you have all this clutter and garbage and other people's opinions and all these
Mm.
strategies that aren't yours that are making you hustle because it's a badge of honor, if you can wipe out, whether that's in relationships, business, any of those things, when you come and you wipe that clean with this beautiful ocean wave, because I am, as I call
Mm.
myself, a land mermaid, because I am addicted to the sea. But when you think about that wave coming over, pulling out all of that other stuff and giving you this clean slate,
Mm.
because there's so much
Yes.
magic inside you that, like, do you really want to be a ripple? Like, no. Not me. I want to make an impact. And that tsunami is going to make an
Yes.
impact. And if I can create a tsunami of self-love that takes over the planet, if everybody loved
Mm.
themselves 1% more, imagine the changes that could happen in the world.
Mm. Yes. Ah, this is so true. Oh my gosh, like you're so right and I love that so much. And I know you're also working on your first book, right?
Yes, I am. It is sitting on my desk right now. It is still, it's about 75% of the way there, and that is a book
Whoa.
really based on, again, the whole basis of self-love is the key to solving
Mm.
every problem in the world. Every problem in your life is a reflection for you to look and say, "Oh, what is this shining a light on? What is this
Mm.
shining a light on for me?" And I find it more and more that I get to connect and have conversations with other people. I'm like, oh, I get to ask these questions. What is that reflecting back to you? Whether that's in coaching, on a podcast, like, what did that reflect back to you? When we take that
Mm.
moment to reflect, even if it's a simple moment, it's like, whoa, that book's going to come out. It's a step by step guide and it has different versions. So, one of the versions is like the busy hustler, the corporate woman. The other, it's kind of like a choose your adventure book, basically. The other one is the burnt out mom trying to have a business. And I actually wrote from my horse's perspective because there's so much that we can learn from a horse and the herd itself,
Mm.
that for highly intuitive or highly sensitive or empaths, which is who I normally attract into my space, um, there's a different way we walk with life. And you can learn a lot from a horse of how to be a master leader in this like non-dominant, safe way, like a herd leader. So it's kind of just this tell-all slash journal. I'm hoping to have it done by the end of this year.
Yeah, that's such a big accomplishment. Like, oh my gosh, like it's amazing. Like I'm like in awe of how you find the time to do all of this. Yeah.
Well, we make time for what's important to us. And one of the
Yes.
ways that I got my time back was being a podcaster, because I
Mm.
do have an online business. I do help other people and, want leaders to rise.
Mhm.
And when I was struggling to build on social media, I was so burnt out. I
Mm.
mean, I wasn't enjoying things because my phone was always in my face documenting every moment of my life. I was never present. This is not cool. Like, check out. And that's when podcasting came in and was just this huge swoop of I actually made real connections. I went to Costa Rica
Yes.
with somebody. I had people come in from all over the country and stay at my house in California. True connections can be built
Mm-hmm.
here because it's a different kind of relationship. And life is
Yes.
about relationships.
Yes. You actually get to talk to people.
Yeah. Get to know their stories.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, this is so inspiring, and I love your perspective on things and how refreshing it is, and so good.
Well, thank you.
So, what would you say, like growing up, did you imagine that you do what you're doing today?
Oh, no. Oh, not even close. Well, when I was young, I wanted to be a flying doctor,
Ooh.
whatever that meant. But I am a pilot. My biggest fear was flying, so I got over my fear by flying and becoming a pilot. And I am a health coach, a certified health coach. So it kind of made that happen. But as a podcast strategist that used podcasting as a healing modality to heal inner child wounds and overcome trauma,
Mm.
oh no, I haven't heard anybody else doing that out there. But it's when I settled in, it just
Mm.
popped up. I was in
Yeah.
a clubhouse room, I don't know, a year or two ago, and got to the conversation of podcasting, and everybody
Mhm.
asked me podcasting questions, and they're like, "Oh, do you have a
Yeah.
course?" I didn't have a
Mm.
course. I was a health coach. But did I tell them I didn't have a course? Oh no. I said, "Yeah, I have one. Actually, it's launching next week." So I quickly, as I'm on this clubhouse, creating a sales page for this random new podcast program, launch program that
Wow.
that I had, in my back pocket, had no
Yeah.
idea, called Perfectly Imperfect Podcasting. And I
Mm.
launched it and I sold out my beta program in 72 hours. N-
What?
I'm not trained in podcasting, and it just kept going from there. My production company was born. Like my life was starting to turn
Mm.
around, and I was going from that moment of I don't deserve the air to
Mm.
sitting on a floor in Costa Rica having the next question asked, "Who am I?" And I couldn't
Mm.
answer that, to having this, "Are you a podcast? Are you a podcaster? Can you teach this?" And saying
Mm.
yes. So those
Mm.
things I said yes to immediately. My podcast I launched. I woke up, said I was going to be a podcaster. I actually launched it on that day.
Wow.
Everything. I did the graphics, everything. The trailer, I launched it on that day. And then when I said this podcasting thing. So when universe or whatever your version of universe is gives you those nudges, that quick
Yes.
messy action is what led me to where I am.
Yes. Oh, you know what's actually funny? The same thing happened to me.
Yeah. I want to hear the story if we have time. I have to know. Tell me the
Yeah.
story.
So the same thing happened. Like people were like, Anna, like you're amazing. Your podcast is amazing. Do you have a course? I'm like, yeah, sure. It's just crazy. Like I feel like, people see us go and they're just like, how did she do this? Like it's so complicated. There's like the tech to learn, like this thing and that thing, and people get discouraged and they just give up. But not us. We're like, we're gonna figure this out. We can create this like in 2 seconds. Like we got this. Like that's what I love about women like us who really take that initiative and like go for it, and they know that it's going to create amazing results.
Right? I just, I'm going to turn this back on you for a second. But with podcasting, like, I'm sure you've done other marketing. What was the one
Mhm.
thing about podcasting that is more powerful for your business than anything else?
I think you already said it. Relationships, like this is everything to me. Like I feel like since we went online, do our business online or meetings online, like we never really see people. But like having like a real raw conversation with someone and learning about them, like I've grown so much, like as a person, as a coach, as a businesswoman, as a leader, like just learning about other women, like from all walks of life, because I don't discriminate. Like I have guests from all walks of life, and I've just learned so much, so many different perspectives. And not only that, but like you said, like the referrals, the relationships, the new clients, the the features in other people's websites, like it just snowballed. Like it takes this life on its own. And yeah, it's an incredible thing.
And what has it done for your confidence? Just out of curiosity. I know this is my, like you're supposed to be interviewing me, but I want to know, like, confidence wise, did it like boost your confidence like it did mine? Like, I'm willing to
Oh
share
yeah.
the story of not being able to answer the question, to not being able to breathe.
Yeah, for sure. At the beginning, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna figure it out, and with time, definitely the confidence grew. But yeah, share that story. I want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I shared some of it. Like, one of the people on my podcast was like, come to Costa Rica with me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm borderline agoraphobe. So a flying tube of germs is not really my thing. Even though I'm a pilot, I learned to fly because I like my own little germ-free space.
Mm-hmm.
So I got on the plane, I went down there, and it was one of the most magical experiences because when I sat on that floor and I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
answer that question, it came to the realization of I'm doing everything in my life for everyone else. That's not what a
Mm.
leader does. A
Yeah.
leader and somebody that wants to help other people rise is making waves, is making tsunamis. Yeah, maybe you're
Mm.
toe dipping and getting that ripple out. And that's what I was doing was toe dipping. I had my podcasts going. We were at the top, well, I think we were number 52 in the top self-love podcasts in the
Wow.
world. I was toe dipping though because I was
Mm.
never showing up and sharing my story. I was always having just guests.
Mm.
And when I pivoted and I started a second podcast that's almost all solo, I
Mm-hmm.
started sharing from my soul. And it
Yes.
was that moment sitting on that floor where I realized I had lost myself in everyone else's strategies, everyone else's versions of
Yes.
success, everyone else's versions of what a leader should look like. And, oh, don't do this, and the shame here, and, the
Mm.
spiritual shame and the religious. Like, I was so stuck in being this puppet for everyone else to be my puppeteer
Yeah.
that I was like, this has to change. And when I
Yes.
came back from Costa Rica, everything changed. Everything. I was like, no more of this, no more of that. Lost some relationships that were important to me. Still working on it because like it's always a work in progress, but it's
Mm-hmm.
really owning your story, sharing your
Yes.
story. Because
Yes.
a person told me, your story is someone else's life preserver. Are you going to let that other person drown?
Mm.
And it was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, so it's not just for me? Like, my story of sitting on the bed praying to not wake up in the morning is serving somebody else that's listening right now. They
Mm.
might be feeling that right now and think they're alone, but they're never alone.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Your story, I hate to say, isn't a total 100% original. Yeah, some of it is. You're an original, but somebody else has gone through some of the
Yeah.
things you've gone through. And it just feels good to know that you aren't the only one going through this crazy, crazy show of life.
Exactly. Oh, this is so good. And you know what the funny thing is that I started with my story, like my first episode ever launched. I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this and I'm asking people to be vulnerable and opening up and share their story, I'm gonna share mine in this episode. And it's like the most listened to episode of the show.
Yeah, I should probably do that one day.
Yeah. Well, it takes a lot of courage. It's not easy to do, to be honest with you. It was really terrifying, but like you said, I knew it was going to help people. And I'm sure it
Yeah.
did, and I'm glad that people, got something from it.
And congratulations for doing it out the gate. Like, wow. Can we just stop for a moment and give you like a virtual high five and clap it up? Like, you did it the first episode. Way to go. Like,
Yes,
cheers. Like,
thank
that's a
you.
proud moment right there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, all my life I was called like resilient and like brave. And I'm like, I can shake in my boots right now, but I can do this too. Like, I'm not gonna die. And yeah, I just did it. And I really don't regret it. And yeah, I'm just glad. I'm glad that we're having this conversation. This is so fun.
I know. I love like I said, I think what you're creating is a movement, is that
Yeah.
powerful female leaders bringing a different perspective because we do think differently,
Yeah.
and no throwing shade on guys, but we do think differently. We're approaching things but with a little bit more love, a little bit more sensitivity. And although we can go too far into the sensitive, I really think that powerful female leaders can make the impact, can make those
Yes.
tsunamis of change that aren't just, in our communities, that kind of take over the world, give people
Yes.
more voices, and show people that we can be vulnerable. Like, our life wasn't perfect. Life wasn't,
Yeah.
all sunshines, rainbows, and unicorn farts. Like, it's about the messy middle and finding that
Yeah.
messy middle.
Yes. I love this so much. And I know you listen to the show, so I ask this to everyone. Like, what does a powerful leader mean to you? But I feel like you've answered it pretty much the whole episode.
Somebody that embodies themselves and
Yeah.
shares from the heart, shares the unrestricted stories, tells it, the good, the bad, the ugly, and lets people find their way. They're there when
Yes.
they need, but really is kind of this anchor of vulnerability, yet the supporting hand that reaches back and says, hey, I just went up this crazy mess. I just climbed this, pile of garbage.
Yeah.
Let me help you up to the top too so you can get a little more sunlight.
Yes. This is so good. Like, I feel like my heart is cracked wide open right now because you're so amazing.
Thank you. I'm over here blushing. The same color as my microphone and my headset in my room. It's all red.
Love it. So, do you have, any last piece of wisdom, anything that's on your heart that you'd like to share today?
I think the one thing that I would love for listeners to walk away with is really ask yourself a couple of questions. Who am I? And strip down the pieces of, I have a degree. I'm this. I'm a mom. Like, who are you to the core? And then the second question is start asking yourself, does what's in your life bring you joy? If something doesn't bring you joy, can you get rid of it? Can you change it? And that might be relationships. That might be your business. It might be time to pivot. It might be time to get rid of a relationship, a spouse, or whatever it is. But if your life doesn't feel that it brings you joy, if you can't crack a laugh at something stupid, or you don't have a pal or somebody, like, it's really important to have community. But if it doesn't bring you joy, then you're doing life wrong. Period.
Yes. Follow your joy. Be curious. Go out there. Find out what that is.
Yes.
I love it. Well, feel free to let us know, where can we go to connect with you, follow you, learn more about you, because you're so amazing and we want to learn more.
Well, thank you. I am mostly on podcasts. So I have 2 podcasts. One is called Feed Your Business with Love, which is the tsunami of self-love for your business. And the other one is Podcasting for Your Soul. Because as I said, podcasting to me saved my life. It truly saved my life. And I am now teaching people to use it not only to grow their business, but to heal their souls. And if you're done with all that, you can just find me at jdragonette.com.
Love it. Go listen to Jennifer's podcast. She's awesome. You're going to learn so much from her and have a blast doing it. Thank you so much again for coming today. I appreciate you so much, and we'll definitely stay in touch.
Yeah, thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.